but it can be more powerful and move the unmovable and do the undoable. Jesus likens it to a sycamine tree. What is that exactly? Being plucked up from the ground and planted into the sea. Sycamine tree is a mulberry bush. A mulberry bush. What's interesting about a mulberry bush is it has some really deep roots. I don't know if do you guys have mulberry? I know we had some there in Oklahoma City. In fact, we had a mulberry bush in our backyard there in Oklahoma City, and I don't know how many times I cut that thing down to nothing, and it just comes back, and it just keeps coming back, and it keeps coming. Finally, I just said, okay, fine, I'm just going to let it grow, and I let it grow this one big, I don't know, stick out of the ground. And then from there, I just kind of trimmed everything off of it. And then it would grow a bunch of branches off the top of it there. And it started out, I think, about this high when I started. And within 2 or 3 years, it was way up here. And I kept cutting down those branches. And we had 2 peach trees right next to it. I could never get those things to grow very well because this mulberry bush was just boom, it would explode all over the place. It overshadowed my peach trees. In fact, I'd just be chopping branches of it down constantly, just trying to get the light to be able to go through to hit my peach trees. And why does it do that? Because it has very deep roots. It goes all the way down to the water table, which there in our house was not very low, but you could definitely tell it was way deep in that water level. Because every time I did something to it, it just grew right back. Bigger, fuller, greater. So think about it. If you were to pluck up this big tree, this mulberry bush, a sycamine tree, and you try to just grab it, just grab a hold of the whole thing and pull it up out of the ground. Imagine if it was like, maybe you'd probably have to do it when it's pretty moist out or something. But just just regular ground, because the clay around here is pretty bad. But if you're pulling this thing up out of the ground, it could. I mean, estimates that I saw was maybe 50,000 pounds of dirt it would take with it. Just the roots holding on to all that dirt as you plucked it up. If you've ever plucked a plant out of a garden or anything, you pluck it out, all the roots and dirt and everything come with it. If you do this with a sycamine tree, it'd be like 50,000 pounds. This you're talking about if you had faith as a mustard seed, you pull this, you say to this thing, pull up out of the ground with 50,000 pounds of pressure and put it into the ocean. That's even stranger and more difficult. Because the salt and the sea and all those things, it doesn't even make sense. Yeah, that's some of the things that faith can do in your life. You make things happen that don't even make sense. Do the undoable, move the unmovable. And you could do it if you had the faith of a mustard seed. Just a tiny little bit of faith.